Jane, how are you enjoying your time here at the farm?
Well, I'm ready to get out in the field.
Yeah, well, your intelligence scores are off the charts. Your psyche eval is...
I had a hard childhood. Something happened when I was a baby that really framed the way my mom treated me. Sometimes I hear voices.
I don't want to know. Never give them an excuse to keep you down. Look, Jane, you're what, 105 pounds? Radner is a misogynistic prick. But when he's a foreign enemy and has twice the anger Radner has, you're done for. You need to fight smarter.
Well, I was very, very, very blessed because Dan Fogelman thought of me. He wrote they were writing it, and as, you know, they're writing, they're always casting, they're always keeping an eye to like who, what, you know. The story goes that he reached out to Sterling and was like, do you think Ryan would be interested in this? Like, you know, it's a very pivotal role, but it's a smaller role in the sense that, you know, sometimes actors like to hold out so they can come back more than once. And yes, while I would have loved to have come back more than once, it was such a good part that I was like I just jumped at the chance to be involved in the Paradise world for sure. Well, you know, everything is very legal and above board what they're doing initially. So I honestly don't think that Stacy understands what she's dealing with, because from my research, it's actually very, very, very rare to come across those personality types. Like those true psychopaths, like a true, like we bandy those terms around. Narcissists, psychopaths, sociopaths, we use them, usually with our ex-boyfriends that we don't like very much. But the actual reality is that they aren't like a large percentage of the population. So it's sort of like encountering, you know, something very rare in the wild, and 9 times out of 10 the personality type is like, well, they may have some tendencies, but really they're not that thing. So I really do think with Stacy, it's like almost like a failure of imagination, because she treats her like a normal, well, I mean, obviously she's off the chart smart and all those things because of where they are and where they're working. I'm trying to be vague about where they are and where they're working because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. But really, I think that ultimately Stacy, it's just one of those things where you have to encounter a personality type like that and see it with your own 2 eyes to really be like, holy cow, you are actually so unhinged that you're never going to be hinged. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like there's unhinged, and then there are people who don't actually have hinges. Yes. Like Stacy's like, you don't have hinges. Oh my God. I think the moment when Jane repeats back to her what she said, like, you know, there's a moment earlier in the episode where Stacy and Jane are talking, and Stacy reveals why she didn't get a promotion for something. You know, because the other thing is Stacy is very good at her job. I mean, she too has been trained in, you know, spy arts, CIA, FBI, all the things, right? So I think there is a part of her brain that snaps, even in the shock of it all. Like a training does kick in. It's like a doctor, you know, you can be in shock and then you watch a doc, even someone who hasn't been practicing for a while, like they're in shock, but then something happens and they're like, if I don't move now, this person's gonna bleed out, right? So I think it's one of those things where as soon as she says, well, you said, the reason why is because, and as she's saying it, I think Stacy's mind is like, I said, Jane, what's in the, you know what I mean? I think that's when her training kind of kicks in, and she's like that as soon as she hears the tone and it's some, and because my scene partner is literally a genius, she gave me everything I needed. Like the little tone, there were so many little like the little way that she tilted, like she has a grin. There's a specific type of grin. You can tell she has a secret that she wants me to know. And then you can tell the way, the lilt in her voice is different than when before. It's just, she literally like lays it out. You know, it's like, you know, Nationals platter, hello. You know, it was kind of like that. I don't think she realizes that there is a codependency. Like, I think that there's a very professional, like, everyone, like, to take it back, everyone needs a mentor. Everyone needs someone who's like, look, like, these are the things, let me show you the ropes, kid. You know what I mean? Especially in a male-dominated field where she's not going to get that. They not only do they want me to fail, but they want her to fail, just on GP. Right? And so I don't think that she feels like they have a codependency. I really do think that she feels like, you know, someone told her, me, Stacy, something, and I'm gonna now pass it along. Like, it's like pay it forward type of thing. I think it's that simple. I think in Jane's mind, this is mom. This is mommy. We are doing this. Like, me and you must never part. Like, I really think, and I don't think Stacy clocks it at all. Like, I think, you know, I think there's such a, like, I don't want to use the word innocence, like Stacy's naive, but there is like a very sort of like, I think in Stacy's mind, she's like, me and you against the system, because they're gonna try to take us both down. So we're like, I'm gonna show you how women treat each other and how we're gonna, like, right? Okay. Right? And Jane's like, yes, mom. Mm-hmm, mom. I love you, mommy. I love mommy. Love you, mommy. Love you so much, mommy. And they're having two different conversations that end up, no, this might not have been the best person to mentor. You know what I will say, though? He was so sweet on set, though. He was really, really, really nice. Like, you know, he let me go in like the super special gate and like drove me, you know, and like he was proud and happy that I was there. I could tell that, and I was like, oh my God, I have to really do a good job, because I was like, I got even more nervous because I was like, I don't want to be the one like in the family that brings it all down. You know, it was like, you got this like Emmy Award winning, like, oh, Sterling was like, Sterling, you're obviously a really great actor, but tell me, you're a really wonderful father. I was like, I can't be the one that, like, you know, I was like, oh, like, you know what I mean? Nobody wants, oh, Ryan, you were in it. You were so in, you had a role, girl, just it got a credit. You know, you can't. So I was very nervous because I was like, oh my God, I don't want to be the one that, I want to upgrade, not downgrade. I don't want to be the reason why we're like flying on the fuselage and not in first class. It was a lot of fun because Nicole was having such a good time discovering so much about her character and her journey. Like, watching her do that was like a lot of fun. And she's a really, really, really good human being, but she's a really, really, really good actress. Like an amazing actress. And so playing, it had been not a while, but it's always fun to play with somebody so good, you know, and like really get in there and do the scenes. And like, I felt like we were building something together. Like, sometimes you work and it's like you're doing your thing and the other person's doing their thing. But like, this was like a true, like, we were generating something together, especially for Jane, so that at the end of the episode, Jane had so much more room to like become the Jane that we know now.
Right.
You know, and like, it was really, I think it's such a gift as an actor to have like backstory and to know where your character came from. Like, I mean, it's so fun to make it up, but a lot of times I've been in situations where I make it up and they're like, oh, everything you made up was wrong. And you're like, oh, okay, you should have told me that. You should have told me that. I was, you know, my character's, you know, I didn't know that my character was not a fan of Inspector Gadget, but thank you for telling me now. Like, you know what I mean? It's fun to make up these backstories, but it's even more fun to like have the backstory, and then you can like fill in the blanks of all the things that you thought about your character, you know? So I know she was like, it was very juicy for her, and it was fun to play with somebody who was getting all that information like in real time, you know?
Yeah. I think it's interesting too, because we like learn more about why she might be so interested in games, because it's like she didn't really have a childhood, so she's kind of like a little kid at heart on that side of things.
And we discovered the Wii. We discovered the source of the Wii.
The Wii.
The podcast world is happening. I mean, 5 years ago, no one was doing like people. That's just not something that people did. They didn't do companion podcasts. That wasn't a thing that people did. Thank God they're doing it now, because especially for shows like Paradise. I mean, I think back, I flash back to like X-Files. I mean, wouldn't it have been great? I mean, my God, that would have been amazing. And we don't have water coolers anymore. And we don't have water cooler talk. So you need to debrief and you need to like go through it. You need that, especially with these kinds of shows. So I think a podcast in and of itself is like a natural progression of like where we are and where we find ourselves. Like I said, we don't have the water cooler anymore. We're not going back to the office. And it's not like, I can't wait to talk to my work wife, my work husband, my work bestie, my work sister and brother about the show that we love, right? You need that community. And I think that that's what also makes TV so incredible, right? Is like we have a community of like what this is, TV Guide. I mean, that's what it used to be. You know, you used to get your TV Guide and you'd be like, okay, what are they saying? Like, because you needed more, right? To sustain you between seasons or episodes. So I think that's the natural progression of where we are now, is like why shows are doing these companion podcasts and why it's so important for a show like Paradise, because you need your friends to talk to it about, because there's so much that happens in an episode and you need to debrief. And I'm telling you now, season 2, Get your girlfriends, get your wine, whatever it is that you need to cope, because you're going to need to cope. And then I also think that because I'm such a I have such good insight, obviously, because of my connections to the show, my many connections to the show, knowing everyone as long as I've known them, but also being a real fan, a real fan of the show. So I can ask the questions that I hope I ask the questions that the fandom wants. I hope I ask the questions, you know, other than all the spoilers, but like, I hope it gives you that sense of satisfaction that when you have that like ache and that longing when this episode is over and you're like, oh, I just need a little bit more. This is the what's the opposite of an amuse? This is the port wine at the end of the episode. It's like, now the meal is complete.
Yeah, that like little last piece of chocolate and wine.
Yes, or that little, you know, that I'm a last biter. Does anybody like when you have a meal that's so good and you're like, oh, this last bite is about to hit, like, you know, and you just wait and you get it, like you like, because I'm a layerer too. Like I layer that last bite and I'm like, yeah. So it's that last bite.
And was there an episode that you were most excited to kind of delve in on, you know, as not a participant being on screen for it? Was there a twist or a plot this season that you were most excited to ask questions about yourself?
I thought there was, but it was like picking a child. Like they were all my favorites. But I will say that I interviewed Shailene Woodley last. And I'm glad she was last because her episodes were so...
Oh, I know.
I don't even have words, right? Like, there are no words. There are no words. There are no words. So I think it was appropriate that she was last. Oh my God, so many thoughts. And me and Nicole talked about it. We were like, what happens after this moment? Like, what the hell happens after this moment? So I like to think that given her position in the world, that there was maybe some help to be had for Stacy. I like to think that Stacy is somewhere surviving. I like to think that while there was the bunker in Colorado, that couldn't have been the only bunker. You know, I mean, you can't, okay, listen, let's just be real. We really think that there isn't something in Quantico that you could go down a few levels and like, you know, like we find out that, you know, there's bunkers, there's other bunkers is all I'm going to say, and other ways to survive. So I'd like to think that given Stacy's work with the government, that they didn't just be like, oh, well, girl, you're going to be incinerated. But who knows?
I mean, she's a skilled individual. And
she's a skilled individual, and she's a survivor in her own way. So I like to think that Stacy is somewhere having survived it and having survived that moment with Jane.
Yes.
And who knows? Maybe we'll see her in season 3. That's my own personal hope.